Each week, nearly a dozen movies are released theatrically. 40 films a month, more than 400 a year. That's a plethora of cinema. Too much cinema. You'd have to be an addict to see all that, but don't fret. We've got you covered. This is CinemAddicts.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's a new week of CinemAddicts. This is CinemAddicts episode 354. Me and Eric and Bruce, we're covering movies that are coming out the week of Friday, July 31st, 2026. Eric and I just got done with our Patreon for July. How was it, Eric Holmes?
I'm probably right through the coals, but we'll see what happens.
Why would you wait? Eric Holmes Eric Holmes has to leave for work in about 40 minutes, so we're going to be very quick on our end, this section of CinemAddicts. So time is of the essence. That said, I'm a little bit frustrated with Eric because he spent about 35 minutes expounding on the virtues of 2001. We've heard it before. It's a masterpiece. Eric Holmes, why did you have to keep on saying 2001's a masterpiece and you genuflect? Why?
Yeah, you'll just have to go on the Patreon and find out.
Do you think I'm lying, folks?
See it.
Oh, it's spoiler alert. Eric, you spoil things too much. I don't like it. But yeah, Eric has his own interesting opinions on why 2001 doesn't work as a movie. I'm not going to tell you. Eric's not going to tell you right now because
right now it's just a hypothesis. We'll develop the theory as time goes on.
Well, yeah, please hashtag clickbait Patreon and listen to Eric Holmes expound and elaborate.
I'm just baiting all the rage on that one.
Okay, so thank you, by the way, CinemAddicts Patreon members and if you're not a member, $5 catch-all fee gets you a bonus episode per month on CinemAddicts. We spotlight movies of cinema from different years. Right now, we're on a project from the years 1950 to 1975. This month being July, we spotlighted the year 1968. We covered the movies Yours, Mine, and Ours, which Bruce Purkey will review because that's an assigned pick. But we put that, Eric and my review for Yours, Mine, and Ours is on Patreon. The other two movies we review from 1968 are the aforementioned 2001: A Space Odyssey and Theorem, also known as Teorema. It's an Italian film by Pierpaolo Pasolini, starring Terence Stamp. Eric Holmes has some very interesting thoughts on Teorema as well. And for some reason, Eric and I 2001, okay? I will say this, spoiler alert. We did spend about 15-ish minutes to 20 minutes on 2001. A lot of it is Eric Holmes' thoughts on it. Okay, so that's good. But for some weird reason, we spent around 35 minutes or plus on Teorema. And the reason why, you're going to have to listen, hashtag clickbait, on our Patreon, because a lot of it is Eric's thoughts on the movie, which are very interesting. And then I have my own thoughts from when I was a wee lad, when I was 20 or 21, when I couldn't get any dates at UCLA and I was just a lonely...
Well, it's because he didn't ask me.
Oh, thank you, Eric Holmes.
But I was probably 10, so it's probably a good thing you did.
Very good. I would have been arrested. UCLA Bruins. I was a UCLA Bruins student in 1991 when I first saw Teorema. I talk about that story and how I look at it now. So there's some of that, and there's Bruce Purkey's own review of Teorema as well. So there's some personal anecdotes. And for our Patreon members, I also... Because Eric, and Bruce, for doing CinemAddicts and Find Your Film and Movie Mainline, all this stuff, we rarely bring our personal lives into the matter. I talked to Eric why Teorema and Pierpaolo Pasolini were very important elements in my college years, and then how it led me to become an entertainment reporter journalist. So if you want to know the details or the deets, DEETS, hashtag ragebait or clickbait, go listen to our CinemAddicts Patreon. There's some personal stuff for me. Yes, Eric.
Cool.
Sell some more.
The end of the Patreon. There's a little...
P.T. Barnum this right now. I want to hear it. Go ahead and go for it.
We talk about a very wonderful director right at the very tail end.
Oh, wow. Who is it? No, spoiler?
I can go. You know what? I will spoil that because she's worth spoiling. Elise Guy Blaché. She died in 1968, so she was on the list there. But we gave her some more flowers because she deserves them all.
Well, I will say this. When we say we mean Eric, because Eric gets a little bit personal on Elise Guy Blaché too. Some really good. He raps Waxonic on her, which is very good. Rhapsodic. Yeah, he has a rhapsodic, very complimentary. And if you want to know more about Elise Guy Blaché, listen to Eric's talk and thoughts on her as well. So I'm sorry for clickbaiting you guys for the first several minutes on Patreon, but it's a good thing. Thank you, CinemAddicts Patreon members. Most importantly, thank you all CinemAddicts listeners, whether you're Patreon or not, just for supporting all three of us, including Anderson. Callan, he's somewhere out there. He's making his movie. He's over at the Film Vault. But thank you so much for supporting us at CinemAddicts. Let's get to this episode because Eric Holmes has to, after dealing with me for 2 hours, he has to deal with a whole bunch of people for another several hours, and he has to be the life of the party. Don't you have to be the life of the party, and you have to be the great socializer or mixmaster or what?
The people singing are the life of the party. I'm there to facilitate that.
Okay, very good.
Make sure everyone sounds their best. Make sure everyone's confidence is up so they can sing their best. And hey, here's a little trick about karaoke or just singing in general. I think this might work for all art. If you're not confident, you're not going to do your best work. So if you go to karaoke and you're nervous and you're like, I'm not a good singer, first of all, you're lying to yourself. Everyone can sing. What it is, you need to get the confidence to really
hit those notes, right?
Now, not everyone's going to hit every note, and that's fine. But when you're confident, you're able to hit notes that you wouldn't otherwise get because you're holding back. And when you hold back, you can't do that because singing's a physical thing that you do. Imagine trying to pick up a hammer. Well, if you're like, I don't know, and you're trying to pick it up with 2 fingers, are you going to lift that hammer? No, it's going to be too heavy for you. If you're like, screw this hammer, I got it, and you grab it and pick it up, bam, you picked up a hammer.
Eric, have you seen, I'm sure you've seen a lot of people in your, I don't know how many years you've been doing this, but have you seen a lot of people who are actually very good singers, but because
many of them.
No, but here's the thing. But because they freeze up and they don't have the confidence, they don't carry the note well. But you can tell, oh, that person's just nervous. He or she's actually a really singer.
I've seen it happen in real time.
Oh.
I don't know if I told this story here. Not that we have time for it, but this is a good story, so I'm going to tell it anyway. I was at Toki, one of the places I do karaoke at, and there are a bunch of fantastic singers there. If you work for American Idol, go to Toki. You'll find your whole season's worth of singers there, and that's no exaggeration. But so we get a bunch of singers up, and they get up and they sing their songs and get down, and to them this is what we do on Sundays and Tuesdays at Toki. Go show up in Colorado. But they get up and sing, and there was these 2 women that showed up and they signed up for a song, and they're seeing all these people get up on stage and just being awesome, and now they're like, oh no, we got to follow that. And then the next person comes up, it's like, oh no, we got to follow that. And the next, and so they're getting really nervous about getting up, and they get up, sheepishly get up on stage, and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, we're doing this song, we're not going to be as good as you guys. And they pointed at they didn't do that. They pointed at the table with a bunch of the singers, and they're like, we're not as good as you guys, but this is going to suck. And then they started the song, and before the lyrics came on, those people at the table got up, went up on stage, all of them got up, went up on stage and stood behind the 2 women, and they were like their backup singers. And those 2 women were so excited about that. And they just freaking, like, they started off, and then as the song went up, they were so excited, like they had all those people like behind them.
Yeah.
And you could hear their voice get better throughout the song.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's how I know for a fact, confidence makes you better at just about anything. So if you're at karaoke or just wanting to do something and you're like, I'm not good enough, don't lie to yourself. Try it. And then, you know what? If you mess up, try it again. If you mess up and you liked it, it's like, I'm not that good. But talent is just where your starting point is. That's not where you end, because most of art involves a skill, and skills can be learned. So just, if you want to do it, or you're interested in it, or you enjoy doing it and you don't think you're that good, doesn't matter. Keep doing it. You'll get good.
That's great advice, Eric. That's actually more insight than me, you, and Bruce or Anderson have given in the last 11 years of CinemAddicts. I'm not humoring you. That was very insightful. Very insightful. I'm not joking, folks. That was very good. So please, if you're around Toki, okay, and this is not a clickbait. If you're in the Colorado area, give Eric a visit.
And third best in the Colorado Springs, this guy right here. If you want the best, I'm not the guy. If you want the second best, still not the guy. You want the third best.
Oh, very good. And I think selfishly you'll get to see Eric Holmes, but then you'll get to see, I think, some really wonderful music, some really talented singers over at Toki as well. So that's wow. One of these days when I leave the house, I will visit.
There's this woman there, Melissa. I think pretty much in as many elite singers that we have at Toki, Melissa's, it's got to be between her or Aaliyah.
Mm.
They're
Oh.
both like, they're both like, they're like Whitney Houston good, Mariah Carey good. Like that's, like
Wow.
Adele, they're like, Psh, I got that, no problem.
Oh my gosh. Well, that again, that is Toki. Is it specifically Colorado Springs or in a different city within? It's just Toki.
No, Toki's in Colorado Springs.
Okay, very,
The
very
only
good.
place I work at that's not in Colorado Springs is 1899. That's up in Victor, Colorado. And if you're in
Okay.
Victor, Colorado, every other Saturday, that place gets freaking nuts too. I love
See?
that place.
See, look at that. That's some really good stuff. We're done with this episode, by the way, because Eric really has to go to Toki tonight, right? Is that where you're going? You're going to Toki, or where are you going tonight?
No, I'm working at the Nickel tonight.
Nickel. Eric's
So,
working at
yeah.
Nickel. So time is of the essence, but you got some value added insight on how to karaoke properly with confidence. But Eric Holmes has possibly a very good movie on the horizon. We're not going to waste any more time. It's a movie.
I got two of them.
Okay, there is a movie called The Samurai and the Prisoner. I usually waste Eric's time and your time, dear listener, by reading verbatim the plot line. I have a feeling it's a courtroom setting. I think Eric has the entire review down, so I'm going to shut up. Eric Holmes, Kiyoshi Kurosawa, new movie, The Samurai and the Prisoner. It's longer than 90 minutes, which means I don't know if I really want to see this movie, Eric. It might be over 2 hours. How is this movie? What is this movie about? Should people watch The Samurai and the Prisoner?
So it turns out this Kiyoshi Kurosawa guy is pretty good at his job.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah. He did that. What was it? The Curse.
Pulse. Did he do Pulse? I think he did Pulse, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then there was that other one was just
Serpent's Path.
Serpent's Path. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And so far, all of his movies have been real good. This one's no exception. This one, I think of the ones I've seen, this is probably the most epic one, although I think it only takes place over a number of days. But basically, there's a war going on, a war between clans or whatever. And there's some back and forth between Christianity's moving into the Buddhist territory. And then, so there's some of that going on. But anyway, someone gets murdered, and pretty much the entire movie is trying to figure out who murdered that person. They think, oh, they died from a bow or they died from an arrow, but we don't know where the arrow is. Oh, it's an invisible arrow. Is it divine punishment? Is it that's the thing that becomes a thing? There's a head that shows up. So whose head is this? How'd they get here? I don't know. There's someone else that they get shot towards the end and then get hit by lightning. And then all this is as the movie's going, and they're trying to figure out who's behind all this. And then as they get closer to it, someone else dies, and they got to figure out how does that fit into the
yeah. Is it related? Is it related or interrelated? They're trying to figure out if it's a random thing or maybe tied together, right?
They think it's tied together, but they're not sure. That's part of it. So at its heart, this entire thing is a murder mystery. Mm-hmm. And it's about 2.5 hours long.
Slog?
No, this thing is dense as hell. So
you were not bored. You were not bored.
No, not at all. I would say that I did not catch everything. And this is a movie I could watch 2 or 3 times and still.
Were you frustrated you didn't catch anything? You didn't catch some things. Did that frustrate you?
I was, but I wasn't angry at the movie for it. It just made me want to go back and watch it again. Imagine the first time you saw Zodiac, how dense that movie is, and
That's
how
right.
much is going on.
That's right.
And you're trying to follow all the threads, but it's hard because there's so many threads that it's following. This does that.
Yeah.
But to where I could see someone watching this and getting lost, and I certainly got lost a couple of times. But this is also a movie you can go back to, pick up those threads again that you lost, and maybe you get lost again. But then do
you feel you'll like it better a second time around? Sorry, Eric.
I feel like I'd love this movie after 20 times watching this.
Oh, wow.
And I would absolutely want to watch this 20 times. This movie is freaking awesome.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. If this movie is, to your words, freaking awesome, is it probably one of your top movies, top 20, top 25 from 2026, just from the top of your head?
Yeah. Right now, I think it's at 5 stars. I think on a rewatch, this could go 6.9.
Okay.
I want to give it 6.9 stars just because I know it's going to get there, but it's not quite there yet. But I'm very confident that I will like this movie even more on a second and third watch.
It's not one of those movies where it's an open end, right? Are things solved
No, they wrap it up. And that's the thing. They got 2.5 hours and they're spending every minute of that. There's not a wasted frame in this.
That's saying a lot.
Constantly giving you information. And some may say too much, but that's what rewatches are for. Go back and watch it again. Pick up the things you missed the first time.
Okay, it's based on the novel Kokurojo, which is, I guess, Japanese for The Samurai and the Prisoner. That's why I guess I'm assuming it is a dense movie, but it's a very interesting movie. Then, so people who like mystery thrillers will possibly like it, even with its runtime. Eric,
I would say if you like Zodiac and you wish it was set in feudal Japan, this is your movie.
Okay, all right. Or if you like Kurosawa's work, like The Serpent's Path, which is also a little bit of a mystery, but it's also very just serpentine and very mysterious. I love The Serpent's Path.
Serpentine.
Yeah. Sorry. But if you're a fan of Kurosawa's work, this is just a direct correlation. You're gonna love this movie, right, Rainer? Oh,
a little bit. It's weird because all the other movies of his I've seen have been horror-esque. This one's not. This one's more procedural. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's more like that, and it's more of a mystery. Not a whole bunch of horror. There's people that die, obviously, but it's not. This doesn't have a real horror bent to it. I will say that the prisoner in this, the samurai and the prisoner, he's always going back to him, trying to get some information out of him. At one point, he goes back to him for advice on how he should go about it. And so it's got a really strong Silence of the Lambs sort of thing going on. Yeah. Now, the prisoner is not anything like Hannibal Lecter. I think the person in prison's got screwed over a little bit, but it's got a little Silence of the Lambs, a little Zodiac.
Wow.
Last Samurai. There's some cool fights in there, as you would expect, but it's not an action movie. So like the fights are more like the certain battle scenes because there is a war going on.
Wow.
But it leans more on the mystery than it does the action.
Well, it sounds like I am missing this movie. I will try to get this movie finished because I will try to watch this movie at the latest this weekend because I have to watch for our CinemAddicts movie club. By the way, Eric has to go in about 25 minutes because we got to get these two final movies. But this week, for movie club, we're doing 12
think if Parasite can win Best Picture, this can too, and I hope it does.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Very good. Is it better than 2001: A Space Odyssey, Eric Holmes?
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert. No, I'm just kidding. But
now, is it better than Project Hail Mary?
Oh, come on. It's going to be hard because we all know Project Hail Mary. I'm just going to put words in. It's going to be his number one. It's going to be his number one. Yeah.
In a world where Project Hail Mary doesn't exist, this might be one of my top movies of the year.
Okay, fair. That's very good. That is 5 stars from Eric Holmes.
But we also have Frankie Maniac Woman. I mean, it's been a good year. It's been a good year. It's such a good year that we're going to talk about another movie here pretty soon.
Yeah,
that I freaking love.
But okay, The Samurai and the Prisoner, that is 5 stars from Eric Holmes. It is playing in New York and LA theaters as the weeks go on. We will make sure to tell you guys if it's playing in your cities as well. Directed by I don't know if he wrote it. I'm assuming he wrote it as well, but definitely directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, filmmaker behind Pulse and The Serpent's Path.
Yes.
Okay, and then he wrote it.
Written by him and Hanabu Yonezawa.
Very good. Thank you, Eric Holmes. And New York and LA specifically in July 30th, obviously, because this movie's going to get such a great word of mouth and is getting a lot of critical acclaim. I'm assuming it'll be open in other theaters rollout-wise in coming weeks. Yes, Eric Holmes.
Kurosawa wrote the script. Hanabu is the writer of the original novel. There you go.
Very good. Thank you, Eric Holmes. Now, before we get to what Eric and I saw separately, but we're going to combine on this review, I will do a little bit of a slight detour because I was supposed to watch The Samurai and the Prisoner. Eric had some errands to run. I said, let's go an extra hour to give me that run time, that flight path to watch The Samurai and the Prisoner. But I decided to double down and add another movie this week. Okay, and that's my bad. And here's the thing.
Well, could be a good thing you did.
I will say this. It was productive yet also cowardly because I think it's 2 hours, 27 minutes. That is The Samurai and the Prisoner, I believe. And I saw this movie, Son of Sarah. I looked at the runtime. It's at 83 minutes on VOD Friday, July 30th. Might as well do it for the CinemAddicts family. I wanted to add another movie, and it's only 83 minutes. Now, here is Son of Sarah, Quote, a pregnant woman's cravings. By the way, this woman, she craves ground beef, not ground beef when you put it in a pan and cook it. Ground beef straight from the raw. Yes. Okay. Yes. A pregnant woman's cravings turn sinister as her estranged boyfriend's return coincides with a terrifying secret about the life growing inside her. The life growing inside her, who knows? That is a baby. What is it? A interesting baby? I don't know. It's called Son of Sara. That woman, Sara, is played by Chloe Van Lanschut. I believe that's how you pronounce her name.
I actually didn't know we got this one. I wanted to watch this, so I'm excited to hear what you thought of it. All right. So good job, Greg. You did good.
I will get you and Bruce a link because I know you have to go in a little bit. Maybe you might want to do it a rewind maybe next week. Who knows? You'll listen to the review and you'll see what you think. So it stars Chloe Van Lanschut. You might know her as a cast member from the series From. I haven't seen From. I heard it's a good show, but you might know her from that. It's written and directed by Houston Bone, 83 minutes from Saban Films, written again, directed and edited by Houston Bone. The good news is when you have an 83-minute movie, it's very short, all right? Yeah. When you have a horror film or action thriller that's 83 minutes, me and Eric and Bruce were just saying, okay, let's watch it. It's not 90 minutes, it's 83 minutes. So it's got to be over soon. That's the good news. Son of Sara is being marketed as a modern day Rosemary's Baby. Right? So when you say Rosemary's Baby, I'm not going to say who is the son of Sara, but just know that there has been mention and comparisons to Rosemary's Baby. That's all I'm going to say regarding that. The negative behind this Son of Sara is within 83 minutes, you're not able to world build a lot because the key is to figure out the woman's pregnant. The baby has to come out. The baby has to become the son of Sara, right? So it's all, you mentioned the word procedural. It's all procedure. What happens with Sara? She's currently in a really wonderful relationship with, I think, a childhood friend or maybe a high school friend, and they're a really good couple. These two women really love each other. The problem is she is having a baby with her ex, and when her ex-boyfriend comes and they haven't just a random meeting on the street, they meet each other, and he invites her over to his farmhouse with his mother. And she's thinking, okay, well, I'm about to burst anytime soon. I don't think I can visit you in your farmhouse. I'm going to have a baby. But he says, yeah, don't worry. We're just going to have a free meal. And since he's a dad, she feels a little bit obligated to have the free meal, go to the farmhouse. So the rest of the movie deals with how Sara goes to the farmhouse. She meets the mother, who is a little bit off kilter. She has a very magnetic personality, and you realize that there's something off about the mom, and then maybe her ex-boyfriend is a little bit too attached to his mother as well, just as he's always at her beck and call. So there's a weird setup there, and then the rest of the movie deals with how Sara has to deal with her ex-boyfriend and the mother and the baby that's inside her. So I am not spoiling anything, but I will say there are moments of gore. There is some really great, I believe, practical effects in this, which I enjoyed. And I think overall, the complaints will be a seemingly self-contained small story, like a really nice morsel or treat inside a little box, but maybe I wanted a bigger box. All that said, as an 83-minute exercise in exploring what or who or the son of Sara is, I enjoyed it because I think that girl, okay, let me look at her. She is Chloe Van Lanschut. She's very good as Sara, and you get to see her really go through it in this narrative. If you like movies like Rosemary's Baby, and if you want to hear a lot of anguish and screaming and histrionics and a couple of just icky, gory sequences with practical effects, you're going to get it with Son of Sara. I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. 4 stars for me. Really enjoyed Son of Sara. I haven't seen The Omen in years, but if Son of Sara, with its low budget, very low budget, I hope, the director, is it Houston Bone? Yes, I hope Houston Bone gets more money to make a Son of Sara 2, because I would be all over that. the ending scene where we figure out the son of Sara and Sarah's reaction to her baby, it's very good because a lot of things happen at the end and it goes a different way than I thought it would have. So that 4 stars for that, and also the acting goes.
So what I'm hearing is your biggest gripe about this is it wasn't long enough.
Look, Eric, you're right, because
that's a good problem to have.
And you're right again, because it is a good problem to have, and I'm grateful that within the 83 minutes I was able to finish it, and then we were able to do our Patreon and record cinematic. So hey, thank you, Houston Bone and filmmakers, for making a film so short. Because if I did the other movie, I would have been going over, and then Eric wouldn't be able to go to work. So just based on that, that's very good. But aside from that, 4 stars for me for Son of Sara. I will be getting screener links from Eric and Bruce, and I want to see what they think of this movie as well. By the way, they have to cover 5 or 6 movies next week. I don't know if they'll ever get to it, but hopefully they get to it. Maybe Eric will. 83 minutes, not so bad. But that is it. It is available on, I believe, VOD and digital on Friday, July 31st. Last but not least, Eric, you got to go pretty soon. Jesse V. Johnson. We're ending with Jesse V. Johnson, Above and Below. I'm not going to read the plot summary. Couple of kids, they're on a vacation. They go out into the middle of the ocean in the yacht thing, and then there's sharks, and then the yacht itself is commandeered by some bad guys. One of the bad guys is Antonio Banderas. He's not initially on the boat because he is owner of the boat, and you realize.
Well, if I remember correctly, he was the one that got him on the boat to begin with. Right?
Yes, because he plays a very bad human being. Possibly, we're assuming a drug trafficker, and he ends up in a high stakes card game with a young kid who ends up being the brother of the main character. The main character is played by Laura Morano. Her irresponsible brother leaves a club at night to play with this guy and his crooks, and he loses all his money. And the head of the bad guys, Antonio Banderas, says, hey, he initially feels bad for the kids losing all that money. He says, well, why don't you go on my boat the next day and hang out? And I think that was an honest gesture by the bad guy, just saying, hey, just relax on my boat. But unfortunately,
so they're gonna go shark watching in a shark tank, and then go down and then see. Yeah. Where it gets messed up is that someone goes for Louis Mandylor's in this, by the way. 2 thumbs up. Yeah. But someone's looking to grab their friend's bag, which looks a lot like Louis Mandylor's bag, and so they look inside of it, and there's drugs in there. Louis Mandylor's like, what you snooping around there for? I didn't see nothing. That's cool. I thought it was my friends, and now they're in trouble.
And that is not a spoiler because that is part of the trailer. Okay. Yeah. And there are other things that actually happen in the trailer that are very spoilerific, which I don't want to mention, but thank goodness that Eric doesn't mention. There is an accidental undercover. Look, for some reason, I thought it was guns, but I guess you're right. There were drugs. I don't know. Basically, whatever that contraband is in the bag, it's not good. And let's just go with Eric's thing with
I mean, if it was guns, it'd be like a freaking crate, because guns are like,
there you go.
If it's guns in the bag, it would be a gun or 2.
That's true. Very good, Eric. Very good.
And certainly not worth Antonio Banderas flipping out the way he does, unless those guns are made out of pure diamonds or something.
And then what happens? It gets even worse. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but one of the bags is missing. One of the bags ends up being, well, not missing. One of the bags ends up in the ocean. And
because someone falls overboard, we'll say, and then the bag goes down. The 2 girls are in the shark tank. They're at the bottom looking at the sharks. Everything's fine. Hey, blah blah blah. This and that. Hello. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, what's going on? So they're down underwater, and they see things coming down to where they're at, and they're like, something's going on up there, and we don't know what it is. And then it's some more drama from their perspective.
But yeah,
Antonio Banderas wants the bag, and he's going to do what he can to get it. But as we mentioned, they're in a shark tank. What do you do in a shark tank? What do you look at in shark tanks? You look at sharks. So you can't just go out and get the bag, because there's a bunch of hungry sharks out there.
And we have to mention, look, it stars Antonio Banderas and it stars Laura Morano. Both of them are very popular in their respective, people love their stuff. I think Eric, and I will say this, for us, the big star of this movie is director Jesse V. Johnson. This is his first shark movie. His movies, he's done so many movies, and Eric and I, thanks to Eric, I was introduced to his work, thanks to Avengement, which stars Scott Adkins in one of his best films. It's not his best film, but it's not his best film. There's a lot of great, there's Boudica, Queen of War.
I mean, this one's up there.
Okay.
I would put this one up there.
Right. Here's the thing. You go to on Prime Video or you look under one of your streamers and you just type the word Jesse V. Johnson. There will be movies directed by him. And all you need to do, in my opinion, is press play. At worst, I don't know if Eric agrees with this, you're going to have a good time. That's, I think, at worst. At best, you're
Queen of War. Watch Boudica, Queen of War.
Right, Boudica, Queen of War. My mom, I still haven't seen it. There's this Thomas Jane movie called One Ranger. My mom loved it. It's on, I think it's on Prime Video. You and I still haven't seen One Ranger, but we've seen a bunch of Aaron Eckhart movies with Jesse V. Johnson and Scott Adkins. Eric Holmes is a fan of The Debt Collectors, but I'm going to shut up now about Jesse V. Johnson's work. Eric Holmes, you keep on going about this movie.
Yeah. I mean, the star of this movie is Louis Mandylor, but that's a personal thing.
No, in fairness, he's very good in this movie as well.
He's like even before they find his drugs, he's already a creep. He's like, I'm gonna go out for a cigarette, and he's just sitting there staring at the girls, and hey, do you want to leave, creep? It's like, I like the view right where I'm at, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if he has a name in this movie, but I guess let's just call him Powder Keg because that's what he is. His name is Powder Keg.
The thing, well, Antonio Banderas, so he's the one that gets him on the trip, and then you don't see him. And I thought he was going to be gone I thought they just had him in that scene just to have his name on the poster, and then you never see him
that would have been cool, right? That would have been fun.
Yeah, it would have been fine, but I would like to see more Antonio Banderas. And then once he left, I'm like, that sucks. He's not going to be in the movie anymore. Oh boy, was I wrong. He shows up in the last half, and then once he shows up, things really start becomes a pressure cooker. It's technically a shark movie, but most the sharks are just like we have to get that thing, but it's on lava. Oh, we have to get that thing, but it's in acid. Oh, we gotta get that thing, but there's shark waters. That's where the sharks live and die. So you would think that you don't get to watch much shark mayhem, but you would be wrong there too.
There is shark mayhem. Yes, there is.
And I would say there's a couple spots where the effects get wonky.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, I think they look pretty damn good. I don't know what the budget was for this, but I think Jesse B. Johnson, this is probably why he's a great director, is like, hey, this is what we have to work with. Let's make the best of, I would love to do that thing. We don't have the budget for that, so that's gone. We're going to spend all our time on this and make this thing that we do have the budget for the best it can look and the best it can be. And
both stories were done well. The stories in the ocean was fine. Yeah. The story on the boat was fine too. They were both well done.
Yeah. Yeah, and then even there's a little bit of, what was it, 47 meters down? There's a little bit of that. Oh, you got to go swim over to the thing. The shark, I keep calling it Shark Tank. The shark cage is their safe spot because the sharks can't get to them. And then they like, we got to go get the oxygen's running out. Well, there's a dead guy over there. Let's swim over, get it, and then come back. Okay, we got it. And then they got to figure out where the sharks are. And then the way when they're looking around, swimming, looking around, and there's nothing. And then just like out of the darkness, the shark just appears. But it doesn't appear slowly. Usually when the shark comes, it's like, wham, just coming in, like getting hit by a train. Yeah, the visceral attacks that the sharks have on this is just, you can almost feel it. Like there'd be a scene where someone's like swimming and the shark just out of nowhere, bam, like just eats them and just keeps going. It was like, oh man, I felt the wind get knocked out of me.
By the way,
some of those scenes.
I'm gonna say some spoilers, and I apologize, Eric, for this. This is a shark movie. Part of it, like you said, is a shark movie, but there are different ways in this world to die. Let's just say it's not all by. If you're out in the dangerous water with guns and possible other things, the sharks might not just be your biggest enemy. There might be other ways that you can perish. And that, spoiler alert, there are people who perish in this movie, right?
I will say my one knock against this movie is that I'm going to talk very vaguely about this because I don't want to give away the ending because I really like the ending. But there's something that happens at the end that seems like it would be unsatisfying for most viewers.
Okay.
And I thought that's where they were going. I don't know if you know what exactly I'm talking about, but say someone walks away.
Oh, right. Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a bold move. and then they went and walked it back almost immediately. It was like, you should have stuck with the other one. It's not as satisfying.
Yeah, and
Because you want that extra scene, but the way it was going before it got there, I was like, that's so unsatisfying, but I love it. I respect
agree.
it. And I wish they would have held to their guns and kept that ending.
Look, Eric, I do agree with you, but what you were saying, the walk back works as well, but it would have been cool if it was different. I do agree.
Yeah.
There's not too much of a subtraction for that, but that's more of, okay, yeah, that happened. But I understand. Yeah. I understand that. I will also say that Antonio Banderas, huge actor. That said, there are actors in this. You mentioned Mandalore. There's, I believe his name's Timothy Murphy. He plays he's the owner of the boat, and then owner of the boat is under he has to go by the orders of the big criminal boss played by Antonio Banderas. There are some really good actors in this movie, some really good vet actors, where Antonio Banderas is not the only reason to see this movie. Okay, because I think a lot of people do a really good job. You know what I'm saying?
Who's the main woman? There's two women in the case. There's the one that's got her crap together, and I really like her. And then there's the other one that's the NPC player that you got to keep from getting themselves killed. And I was like,
right.
Just let the shark eat her. She's gonna kill y'all.
Right, exactly. The main character is Laura Marano, and she's good in this movie and she's pretty capable as the lead.
Yeah, and I don't want to give crap to the actor playing the annoying friend. That's how it was written, of course, and that has nothing to do with her. It's just that character really is. Oh, what? Just kill him. You'll be so much better. You'll save so many lives by that person not being.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, we could go on about Jesse V. Johnson movies, why they work, but I think especially for this movie, why it works is sometimes if you have an Antonio Banderas in a movie and he enters a room, he will suck all the air out of the room because he's so good, and everyone else can't fill up that same space. He is the dominant alpha, and I feel, I don't know if you agree, I feel that didn't happen because you had other capable actors around him, where I wasn't thinking that at all. I just thought it was a well-rounded, well-acted movie, and I had a good time watching this film. I'm giving it 4 stars. I have to say, I was going to give it a 3. I was thinking it's like another 3-star shark movie, but with Jesse V. Johnson, the good acting, and just really a guilty pleasure, 4 stars for me for this movie. What about you?
Yeah, I'm 4.5 on this. I think had that one character been written better, that probably would have bumped it up to a 5. Had they kept that ending that they originally went to and not walked it back, this could have been a 6.9.
Oh wow, very
but
good.
Still 4.5.
4.5 is good.
This is top tier Jesse B. Johnson, and Jesse B. Johnson is already top tier in my book. So
of course,
I mean that's we'll go 4.5 on this one, but damn pleasant 4.5. And Louis Mandalore, why the hell isn't that? Why isn't he just not bigger? He needs. I don't get it.
He's so
more
good.
people need.
He's
more
so
people
good. He's so good in this movie.
One day there's going to be like Quentin Tarantino is going to watch one of these movies and be like, "Oh crap, where was this guy my whole life?" And then maybe I hope that happens. Louis Mandalore totally deserves to take off because he's freaking great.
And Louis Mandalore, he has a couple of really cool scenes in this movie with Antonio Banderas, and you could feel there is a really good charge between them. And I loved when they were in the same frame together and they're talking back and forth. Some really good stuff. Will not mention. And there are some scenery chewing sequences.
Louis Mandalore's treating this entire script like a thing of beef jerky. He's chewing the hell out of it, but I love watching him do that.
Right, exactly. It's really good stuff. But anyways, yeah. By the way, that's it. We really love Above and Below. It's not available. It's in theaters starting July 29th. That is it for this episode of CinemAddicts. Eric has to go to work. You want to say we're going to get to Bruce Purkey in a moment? Bruce Purkey has some really good reviews as well. You want to say anything before we're out of here, Eric Holmes?
Yeah, it was first of all, very interesting Patreon we did earlier today. So go on the Patreon and check it out. I do rage some bait. I'm sorry. Call me a big Philistine, a piece of crap. I will take it all in stride or tongue in cheek, depending on who says it. Some people do that as a joke, and that's fine. Yours, mine, and ours. Bruce is going to talk more about that. We talked about that on the Patreon. But since it's the assigned pick, go check it out. Go check it out. We didn't really talk much about that. It was $9. Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, it's streaming on Prime Video. So
yeah. And yeah, if you ever come to Colorado Springs, hit me up. I'll tell you where I'm running karaoke, and then you can come say hi and then sing a song. If you tell me you're not a good singer, I will call you a damn liar and force you to sing. And I will show you how great you actually are.
That's very good stuff. And that's it for us this week in Cinematics. Next week, we're going to have a whole bunch of new movies, etc., etc. And Eric's off to work, and I'm off to, I don't know what I'm going to do, but this was Purkey over at the CinemAttic.
Welcome to the CinemAttic, the attic of cinema. This is a short week, as always, on our Patreon weeks. I don't have quite as much to bring you because we are watching Patreon movies as well. This week, if you are a Patreon member, you will be hearing us talk about 2 movies from 1968, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and also Pasolini's Teorema. I always want to think if I'm saying it wrong, but I think Teorema is pretty close. If you are interested in that, you should definitely join up with the Patreon and you can get some really interesting movie picks every month. And this period right now we're doing is between 1950 and 1975, randomly picking movies. And that's how we get new ones for you each month. Okay, what do we have for this episode of the CinemAttic? Well, I've got a brand new movie called, let me move my papers over here. We got a brand new movie called The Devil's Mouth, which is coming out on Amazon Prime, which should be out when this drops, because I believe it's a Wednesday drop on Amazon Prime. So you might see it popping up on your screen there, and you might wonder, is that any good? Should I check that out? And you can check my review and see what I think. And probably one of the other guys has seen it as well. I think Greg saw it. And as well as that, we are also including a Patreon pick, extra one for 1968, which is Yours, Mine, and Ours. And I'll be talking about that here as well. Okay, first up, The Devil's Mouth. Directed by Jeff Wadlow, starring a whole bunch of people, but the ones you might most recognize are Kathryn Newton. I am a fan of Kathryn Newton. I've loved her in quite a few things. Lisa Frankenstein. She was in, I can't remember the name of that Vampire Girl movie, but she was in that. She's been in a lot of things recently, and Ready or Not 2. A lot of times she's the second banana, but I think she has a lot of charisma, and I really like her in a lot of stuff. I think she's just waiting for that movie that'll really let her break out and people really notice her. We also have Alana Condor, and she plays Max. And then we have Gavin Castellano, I don't know how to say it, and a bunch of other people. But really the 2 main ones here are going to be Max and Sara, Kathryn Newton and Lana. And it's a shark movie, so that should be the first thing you know. The Devil's Mouth refers to a cave. I didn't write down where it was, Indonesia, somewhere over there. And they're basically a bunch of teenagers, young 20-somethings, I should say, all out partying. It almost has a White Lotus vibe at the first part of this movie, where you're feeling like, just a bunch of kind of spoiled rich kids that are out on a big fancy vacation together. Two couples and 1 single. And the single is our main character, which is Sara, Kathryn Newton. And they're all out to go on this kind of tour. And one of the things they're going to do is they're going to go on this swimming, not really diving as much, but they're swimming through this cave to see the Devil's Mouth, which is the name of this certain part of the cave where the stalagmites or whatever hang down and makes the opening of the cave look like a mouth. And before they get there, there's a quick incident where they're on a boat and they're all swimming and partying, and they accidentally start driving away without Kathryn Newton, and she gets surrounded by jellyfish and gets stung really bad. And there's this whole subplot of her being left behind by her friends and how she doesn't feel appreciated and that they wouldn't be there for her, that thing. I guess it's to build like some character development. So when the shark stuff happens, that we're all concerned about who lives and dies. And this leads to my main thing about this movie, and that is, why is it that people can't make a fun, gory shark movie? I know it happens occasionally, but occasionally we get good ones. We had a pretty decent shark movie last year. What was it called? It had a very forgettable name, but it was the one where the guy was a serial killer, basically using sharks. That was really good. The Deadly Animals, I think it might have been called. We've had a few here and there over the years that have been really fun, but there's so many shark movies. How can you make them wrong? Can't you make just at least a basic, fun, campy shark movie? I think of it in the same category of something like Evil Dead movies, for example. The Evil Dead movies are consistently at least giving you what you want. They may not all be the best. Some might be better than others. Some might be more your style than others. But if you go into an Evil Dead movie, you're going to get some possessed people, some crazy gore, some really weird effects, maybe something that's funny or something both gross and funny, something like that. And I always think of like animal attack movies and shark attack movies, and they almost always do them wrong. And I don't get why it's so hard to do them right. They're not extremely expensive. In fact, the money they're spending, this is like a pretty decent level budget movie. It's not like going to be a huge in the theater movie, but it's got some known actors. It's got some locales. They spent money to go to this location. They've got some decent underwater footage. I mean, it's a CGI shark, and it's fine. It doesn't look terrible. It's whatever. But why not just have a lot of shark carnage? It's not that hard. And that's what we came for, shark carnage. And this movie almost feels in some ways like a PG-13 movie. It's not, but it almost feels like it, because it almost feels like a Nickelodeon version of a shark movie, where it's like you got all these characters, and they're all good-looking young people, and they're all just sort of generic, which is really a disservice to a couple great, between Lana Condor and Catherine Newton. You got a couple great characters here, a couple actors, and even they have some pretty decent chemistry together as friends. You could easily care about them as much as you need to for a shark attack movie. They've got an interesting enough setting. They're in this interconnected cave system, and each cave has some different characteristics. One is full of bats, and one has a bunch of dead fish in it from a recent flooding event. There's a whole reason that the shark ends up in this cave system, which is okay, fine. You just have to make an excuse for the shark to be there. It works. That's all you need. But then once that happens, have the shark attack people a lot. It almost should be like they're in this cave, and I feel like it should feel like when you're at home and you're a little kid and you're playing The Floor is Lava or something. And it's, if you touch the floor, you're touching lava. So you've got to work your way around like the couch cushions and the chairs and climb on the tables and all this stuff when you're a little kid, right? But this movie, it's like the water should be lava. Once they know the shark is there and it's attacking people, which does take way too long in this movie, once again, it's one of those basic mistakes of animal attack horror movies. Get to it. It doesn't get to it very quickly. Anyway, once they know it's there, they should be afraid to be close to the water, definitely afraid to be in the water. And sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just out swimming around there doing stuff, and there seems to be no threat. Other times, the minute they hit the water, the shark's like jumping out and attacking people. So I don't understand the rules of the shark. They don't seem to understand the rules of the shark, and they don't seem to really care consistently. Sometimes they are like worried the minute they drop into the water, and other times they're just swimming around like they're not that freaked out about it. That's another thing, like rules. Like, what are the rules of this shark? Is this shark targeting them? Is it ravenous? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not what sharks actually do, but even if it doesn't matter, it's a shark attack movie. We're going to come in and go like, okay, I'm going to assume that this shark, for whatever reason, is rabid or something. It just wants to eat and kill people. That's all I need to believe. And then once that happens, let's have tense scene after tense scene of crazy shark trying to attack people. And it doesn't even seem to get that right. And that's what really is disappointing in a movie like this, where it has a lot of stuff going for it, and it just doesn't seem to know how to get there. And once again, you can't create, okay, I would prefer to not be CGI effects, but you could create some cool gore CGI effects, or even better, create some great practical effects. How hard is it to have a scene with, I don't know, a shark just ripping a leg off, and then the person's like bleeding and they have to stop them from bleeding, or the shark will be attracted again, or that stuff. It's not that hard to figure out. That's one thing I'll give. There's that movie a few years ago. I forget what it was called, but it was by I forget the director. I think it's the director that did Hills Have Eyes and the remake. And he also did Haute Tension, I think. As Alexandre Aja. Could be right. He did, there was this underwater Paris shark attack movie. It was really dumb. It wasn't great. but it still had some really bonkers gonzo moments. So it gave you, it was like partway there. And at least it was relatively fun for that movie. And this movie is about the same level of production, but it's about half the level of fun that had. And that was like, I don't know, like 3-star, 3.5-star banger. So unfortunately, as much as I wanted to really enjoy just the ride of this movie, the ride wasn't very exciting. Instead of being a roller coaster, I was on a little big kids roller coaster. And it was just like, ooh, there's a tiny little hill. There's a bump. Hey, if I was 2, I'd enjoy it, but I'm not 2. So I guess I'm going to give it some credit because the characters were pretty likable. The scenes were well filmed. It was a pretty good setting. Overall, I liked all that stuff. So I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. This should have been a easy 3.5 to 4-star movie with just some fun shark mayhem. And they couldn't pull that off for some reason. So 2.5 stars is what I'm giving The Devil's Mouth. Hey, you're bored. It's on Prime. There's nothing else to do. Watch the first 5 minutes to figure out who the characters are. Fast forward about 45 minutes and then watch the second half of the movie and you'll probably be fine. You won't miss anything. You'll know what's going on. They're just in the water. The sharks are eventually going to show up. That's it. Okay. The other movie we have is the suggested film for our 1968 year is Yours, Mine, and Ours, directed by Melville. Boy, I never write down. My handwriting is so bad, I can't read my own handwriting. I always do this. I write it down, and I'm like, what did I write? And you say, Bruce, why aren't you looking at your IMDb? Because I don't know. I am a disorganized old man. Anyway, Melville Shavelson, maybe? Maybe not. No. Yeah, you help me out later. You could, Greg, you could dub in your voice and say the name correctly right now.
You gotta be kidding me.
Okay, he might not listen to this, but at least you'll know he didn't listen to it at this point. He let AI do the work. All right, the main thing you need to know about this is it's Lucille Ball as Helen and Henry Fonda as Frank. And this is I guess this is based on a real life family, a crazy blended family of teen kids between the two people. And in this case, he's a widower and she's a widow. Of course, if you're in the establishment version of the late 60s, there are no divorces. All these people are just widowed and they need to find somebody to love immediately. The premise of this is that Frank, he's like a bigwig in the Navy and he comes home occasionally. His kids hate him because he's never around. Now they have no mom and he's trying to find housekeepers and people like nannies, and he's got 8 kids. And she's got 10 kids. I don't remember the exact lineup, but they both have a lot of kids. Anyway, no one will stay because his kids are running rampant. And she's a nurse, and somehow one of his kids gets hurt or something, and she's the nurse, and he sees her, and they see each other, and they eventually have a meet cute and fall in love after some dating mishaps. And of course, the two families join together, and it becomes just a crazy madhouse of kids, and then wackiness ensues. This is exactly what you think it'd be. If you've seen The Brady Bunch and you've seen sitcom level of stuff from the 60s, this has absolute 60s sitcom vibes as a movie. And this is the interesting dichotomy, and I mentioned this in the Patreon, an interesting dichotomy of movies, especially in the 60s, because the 60s is where TV is ruling at this point. Movies are having a hard time making it. So you're getting a lot of movies really stretching the boundaries and becoming very much more like daring and stuff. And those are out there. You got international cinema and art house cinema coming in, starting to come in with nudity and stuff, even before American cinema is quite there yet. Underground cinema is doing that stuff. Sci-fi and horror is pushing the boundaries, as you see. 1968, 2001, we talked about. There's Rosemary's Baby this year. There's this stuff that's really pushing the edges and really seems groundbreaking. And then you have things like Yours, Mine, and Ours, which feels like a TV show. And that's from Mom and Pop America. This is as establishment as you can get. It's the height of the Vietnam War. The protests are going on in the streets. Hippie movement is rising. Psychedelics are rising. The civil rights movement's in full effect. People are getting assassinated left and right, political figures. And then you have a kid here who's military establishment, just a good old guy. One of his kids is going to go off and join the military too. No discussion of that it's actually going to be Vietnam. No discussion of a family of 18 children just being fine in a world that is out of control. It's just, hey, funny wackiness ensues, and that's it. And on that level, it's fine. It's enjoyable. It, like I said, it feels like those 60s comedies, which there's a coziness and a warmth and just a predictability that if you drop into those Brady Bunch things, or I saw all those reruns when I was a kid were just on a constant repeat every afternoon. You get home from school and it'd be like Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, Addams Family, The Munsters, Gilligan's Island, just on and on and on. Brady Bunch, all that stuff constantly was on. So you're just watching that 60s vibe, real situation comedy stuff. And this movie is full of that, right? There's meet cutes, there's really obvious voiceover constantly. There's just goofy moments where it's just, oh, how do we feed 18 kids? Let's get the conveyor belt going. You're going to butter the bread and then hand it to me, and I'm going to cut the bread, and then next person's going to put the meat on. Or how do we get everyone into the bathroom at night? We have a whole little system because I'm in the military. I'll figure that out. But mom knows best. And there's the moments where the mom helps one of the kids from the other family, and the dad helps the kid from the other family, and they become a blended family, and you're going to adopt each other, and everyone's going to be happy. It's very, Pollyanna America, the version of America that people now want to believe existed. And it didn't. But all that being said, it's enjoyable to watch. I could feel like, for me, for example, there are certain movies that I watched when I was a kid because my grandma loved them or whatever, and then I ended up loving them because of that. I have that nostalgia attached to it. For me, it's The Music Man is the big one for me. Or maybe West Side Story. I remember seeing that a lot when I was a little kid. Or Fiddler on the Roof. This would be one of those movies, if I had seen it when I was a little kid and it was one of those movies that was watched with my family or my grandparents, I would probably really be attached to this movie and love it. As it is, seeing it now as a older guy in the 2026 era, I find it as a weird, almost like not even nostalgia piece. It's just almost like a curiosity to see that movies like this were a thing in 1968. And in that way, I can enjoy its odd, anachronistic existence. I'll give it 3 stars because I did enjoy it enough. And I mean, I like the weird gruffness of Henry Fonda. And to think that I think the same year, I think he was playing the same character name too. Wasn't his name Frank in Once Upon a Time in the West? And Once Upon a Time in the West came out this year, and Frank is one of the best villains in Western history. And at the same time, he's playing this kind of this warm and fuzzy sort of dad guy. I think that's crazy. And then this year, Lucille Ball is just undeniably awesome. This is for later years where I feel like you can just hear the drinking and smoking in her voice at all times. And you can imagine she's probably like a classic, like off her hinges, older actor, probably addicted to multiple things and probably addicted to prescription sedatives and stuff. Who knows what? But she's just so magnetic, even in that era. I mean, not as much as she was obviously in her heyday in the 40s and 50s. She was really in her stride. But I always loved Lucille Ball, so that alone gives it a star. 3 stars. Yours, mine, and ours. Didn't hate it. Not going to go out of my way to watch the whole thing. If it was on, I'd probably watch some minutes of it, 10 minutes of it or so, and then move along. But for some people, this might be just right in that sweet spot of nostalgia and camp. So check it out. Not bad. All right, that's all I got for you. I might have another review coming up later this week, just on its own review. I'm trying to get around to finishing. I need to watch this Kurosawa movie, not a new Kurosawa movie, not the old Kurosawa, the Kurosawa that made Cure and Pulse. And recently we watched, what was it, the Serpent and the, what was it called? The Serpent and the Path. Oh, it had a weird name to it. It was really good. And he also made that extended short. It was really cool recently. He made, oh my gosh, my brain's losing the names of them. He's made a lot of Cloud, I think it was called. That was really cool recently. He's just a really interesting filmmaker, and he's got a new one coming out it's called the Samurai and the Prisoner. It might be a period piece by the name, and I may have that review for you later this week as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you soon. Talk to you next week. And as always, we miss you, Mitch. We miss you, William. And F you, Ice.